Hello everyone, it's Tanny Games here. Welcome back to the channel. We are back in Disney Dreamlight Valley and I'm here with a video on ways you can prep for the next update coming to Disney Dreamlight Valley. Now the next update that's coming does feature Aladdin and Jasmine, and I think after learning some things from the last Star Path, I have a few recommendations of ways that you can prep for the update. Now the first thing that I'm going to recommend is the basic one, which is make sure you have enough star coins. With Aladdin and Jasmine coming to the valley with a fresh update, we're likely to get new items in the Scrooge store. Perhaps we're likely to get new friendship, well, not perhaps, we definitely will get new friendship rewards, and we're also going to get new premium shop items. And if you want to purchase these or purchase multiple, you are going to need your star coins. So whether you make star coins through cooking, through farming pumpkins, whatever it may be, make sure you're stocked up. Now my second tip in regards to what you can do in terms of prepping for the update, I would say start saving your night thorns now. There is a cap on how many you can get, how many you can have in each biome, how many you can have in total in your valley. So it's never worth saving the night thorns until about 1 week roughly before the update. Now the reason we recommend this is because this can help with Star Path duties where you have to clean night thorns, because this way you don't get time gated. So if you're someone who wants to make quite a bit of progress and not get caught out by those time gated tasks that you could avoid being time gated in, then make sure you do that. Now the next thing I'm going to recommend, which is probably something that's maybe a bit more of a newer concept for prepping for the Star Path, and that is going to be to gather Dreamlight shards. Now the reason why I mention about gathering Dreamlight shards is because in the last Star Path we had a couple of duties, which was to earn 5,000 Dreamlight. The easiest way to get this task done and the quickest way is to actually convert your Dreamlight shards into Dreamlight. So I would recommend stocking up on the Dreamlight shards, go around your valley, look for all the dig spots and dig them all up so that you've got a decent supply, or perhaps reach out in Discord groups or treasure islands and things like that and see if you can get some that way. I'm not going to try and fearmonger too much. There is reports of people going around getting reported for using treasure valleys, so obviously do so at your own risk. Some of these treasure valleys, they are run by people who mod the game, and I assume that's why people are getting flagged, because of that mod issue, because you're not getting resources that have been generated through physical grinding, it's through modded valleys effectively. So just as a heads up kind of thing, make sure if you are doing these things, it's with someone you trust or a valley that you trust kind of thing, just in case. Now, not only do you want to gather Dreamlight shards, but my next recommendation is to stock up on actual Dreamlight. We do believe that Aladdin and Jasmine are coming in a realm. Everything points towards them coming in a realm. So you will need some Dreamlight to unlock this. You're probably going to need about 15,000 roughly to unlock their realm, I would guess. But truthfully, we don't actually know. So make sure you're stocked up on actual Dreamlight. Finish those Dreamlight duties. Go through daily, see what you can get done just to build up that stock, because that's going to be really helpful to you if you can unlock the realm as quick as possible if you want to get up into the new update content. Not only that, but having Dreamlight can be helpful with the Star Path. You can use Dreamlight to craft kind of like potions and things like that, which often we do get tasks that require you to craft manuals, to craft potions, to, you know, gather Dreamlight and things like that. So just having that reserve is very, very helpful. So I do recommend that you build up your Dreamlight supply as well. Now, sticking along the star path theming, I do recommend that you gather your food resources. You're going to want at least 10 of each particular food resource. I generally aim for 50. That's what I try and keep in stock, is 50 of each crop. So whether that's sugar cane, whether that's vanilla, whether that's garlic or tomatoes or whatever it may be, try to build up those reserves. We do have a lot of star path duty tasks that require us to make 10 perfect meals, make, you know, meals for villagers in the shops and or they're in the restaurants, I should say. So you're going to want to make sure that you have enough food resources so you're not time locking yourself again in this way. Some of the food resources do take quite a long time to spawn. They can take upwards of sort of 1 to 4 hours. So you don't want to be stuck with nothing to do in the game because you didn't plant a bunch of crops. So try and make sure that all your food resources are at least 10, but I always aim to have 50 in stock. My next recommendation would be to do some runs around the vitalys mines. The reason why I say this is because you're going to want those vitalys crystals. Vitalis, however you say it, you want those crystals. Those crystals are really helpful when it comes to like the potion crafting and things like that. We do get tasks where we need to fish certain goldfish or whatever it may be, or you might have to harvest things, and there's a lot of ways that having those vitalys crystals can be helpful. So I would just do a few runs round. It doesn't take long to build up those crystals, to be honest. They're quite an easy to obtain item, but I just like being prepped in advance. I just find it takes so much stress off of me, especially in this downtime that we've got at the moment between updates. I would really be focusing on that prep work so that when it comes to doing the star path, you're not spending twice as long to get stuff done. And given that we're now going to have these bonus length star paths, the star paths are going to take longer, and there's no guarantee that each update will be as long as 60 days. We might have even less time this update than what we did on the last update. So if it was a grind last time, you're probably in for an even harder grind this time potentially. So prep work will make things less stressful when it comes to that grind. The next thing that I recommend, one of the common tasks in the star path is to craft manuals, training manuals. Now, the different training manuals have different requirements for what they need. So I would just go through each manual one by one and make sure you've got the resources to craft each one. Like I said, this takes the stress off of the star path grind. This makes things a lot easier because when you're asked to craft a manual, you can just go and craft it. Whereas if you don't have those resources, you're then stressing over gathering those resources. Perhaps they're resources that are hard to obtain. So then you're going to have to spend time grinding towards that. Again, it all just slows down the whole process. It adds added stress. So to avoid that, prep now. My next recommendation is to save your memory orbs, and specifically in the base valley. Now, I don't know if it was a bug last update. I don't know if I was just unfortunate, but I tried to gather memory orbs from Eternity Isle, and they didn't count. They didn't have to count towards the duty. I was there picking up loads of memory orbs in the DLC worlds and they weren't counting towards the progress. Like I said, I don't know if this is a bug. I don't know if it's intentional, but I would make sure if you've got prep stuff, you're prepping things for the valley rather than in the DLC realms, because if you're prepping in the DLC realms and then they don't count towards those star path duties, you are going to be gutted. Now, I do have a memory orb farm currently, but it's located in Storybook Vale, so it's of no use to me whatsoever. So it's just there for decoration now at this point. My recommendation, maybe go inside your home, do a bunch of cooking, like batch cook wheat or sugar cane, or something, just something that's easy to obtain. Perhaps shakes, because shakes require just like an egg. They require some form of dairy, so you could just like put an egg in to cook and then get the shake out, and then just hope you get some memory orbs. It is grindy, it is not enjoyable, but it might help you when it comes to those tasks in the star path where you have to interact with like 15 memories, and then all of a sudden you're hit with another 15, and it's just kind of stressful. So if you can get some reserves of some memory orbs, I'm now at the stage where I literally, if I get a memory orb, I leave it. I don't touch it until the star path comes round. So that would be my recommendation there as well. And another recommendation that I have for prepping for the Aladdin and Jasmine update would be to make space for their home. When they come to the valley, they are undoubtedly going to need a house. Now, we don't know the size of this house building. My own personal prediction is that they are coming with their palace, the Agrabah Palace. That's what I think we're going to get. And so it might take up a bit of room. We don't really know, to be honest. But I would just make sure you got space to place them in your valley. Just clear a bit of room up. You've probably already done this. You probably don't have a full valley. But if you're someone who has got their valley fully decorated, just think about making a little bit of extra space for their homes to be placed so that you can get them into your game. And my last recommendation, which might seem a bit odd, but my recommendation is don't buy any moonstones. You don't want to buy moonstones just in case there's a seasonal reward pack in the premium shop when we hit this next update. There's no guarantee that we will have. They did say the reward packs were going to be seasonal. I'm not sure whether they count the first pack that we got as like the winter seasonal pack or whether that was more of an autumn one. I'm not entirely sure. But we could potentially see ourselves getting a new seasonal moonstone pack. So rather than wasting money on moonstones now, you could wait for the update and get that seasonal pack and get the bonus rewards. Like I said, there's no guarantee that there is going to be a seasonal pack, but there might be. So I know it happened when the seasonal pack was first introduced that some people bought some moonstones and then all of a sudden they were regretting it because they bought the moonstones to prep for the update, knowing full well that they would need moonstones for all the new items, and then all of a sudden they were sat there wanting to buy another pack to get these rewards. So I do kind of give this as a heads up. If you were debating about buying moonstones in preparation, maybe don't, just in case there is this moonstone reward pack, because you don't want to miss out on rewards really. So I do recommend that. Don't jump into buying any moonstones unless you absolutely need it for something that's in the premium shop at the moment. Then of course I understand, but just be aware that this can be a thing, that we do get these seasonal bundles, it seems. We've got no idea when the next one is coming, but just a heads up, don't rush into it. Well, there you go. That is it for my recommendations on how to prep for the Aladdin and Jasmine update. Now, of course, with this game, you can play it in absolutely any way you want. You don't have to follow these tips and recommendations at all, but it's just what I recommend so that when you're working on your star path, when you're unlocking villagers and things like that, that it's kind of as easy to do as possible. You know, for me, there's nothing worse than hitting update day, seeing everyone else enjoy the update, and you can't enjoy it because you're stuck grinding out a bunch of Dreamlight to unlock Aladdin and Jasmine. You know what I mean? So for me, just to make things less stressful, the way my brain works and things like that, I would recommend these tips just to make things easier. And like I said, these tips often help with the star path, which can be very, very grindy. I think tips like this reduce the stress of that. They reduce the pressure. They make it so that you can progress through the star path more quickly, which for some people might not be an issue, but given that we have these extended star paths now, and they do seem to have some quite big rewards at the end, you know, a free house skin is fantastic in my eyes. So if you want to kind of make that feel less stressful, less grindy, I do recommend putting this prep working because it can help. And like I said, a lot of the tasks in the last update I think were particularly grindy. So having some of the things required to make it as less grindy as possible, you know, having the memory orb set aside, having the Dreamlight shard set aside will just make things 10 times easier for you. So if you have any other tips that you recommend, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. We can all help each other out as a community. You know, just share the love around and things like that. But I hope you find these tips helpful. I know that I find these kind of things helpful often. So this is my recommendation to you. Don't forget to leave your own tips in the comments down below. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys!